Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another rebuild here on Madden 24. Last time we took a look at the Denver Broncos and we tried to rebuild them and put them in a much better situation than what they currently are in right now in real life. I feel like we did do that. Unfortunately, spoiler alert if you haven't seen that episode or that video, we didn't come away with any championships, but we did play in a Super Bowl in that final season, got beat in it, unfortunately. It was a close one. But I feel like we set up the Denver Broncos for a long time. They've got cap space, they've got young players, they've got a bright future ahead of them, basically. So the Broncos have been set up for the future, even though we didn't win a championship in the 5 or 4 years, whatever we did in that rebuild video. So today we're taking on a new challenge, and some may say that this challenge is even more difficult than the Broncos. Now, this challenge also involves a quarterback that is under contract for a long time and has a lot of money assigned to it, and also involves a team that is kind of just like spinning their wheels, not really doing anything. Their offense sucks. Their defense can't stop anybody. They're getting scored on at will. I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment right now, and that team I'm referring to is the New York Football Giants. That is right. We are going to be rebuilding, or attempting to rebuild, the New York Giants today. In today's episode, the quarterback, obviously I'm talking about, is Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. So we are going to be trying to resurrect this franchise back to where they were just a little over a decade ago, when they were winning championships with Eli Manning, Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, Mario Manningham. I could name a bunch because those teams beat the Patriots. Brady could have 2 more championships if it weren't for Eli Manning and David Tyree and Mario Manningham and all these BS players for the New York Giants. So, luckily for me as a Patriots fan, that era of Giants football is long since dead. We are in a new era of Giants football where you've got some bright talent. You've got Saquon Barkley, although not really sure what they're doing with Saquon. They signed him to a 1-year deal that was less than what the franchise tag was. So I don't really know the reasoning on that one. They've got young talent around this team. Obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Hyatt, who they just drafted this year in the draft. They've got obviously Evan Neal and some good talent on the team. It's just they're not that good. They've been getting just absolutely ran through by teams. They couldn't score a point for like 2 weeks in a row. It was just it was embarrassing. So I'm going to take my GM talents and try to rebuild this organization back to where they want to be. Obviously, I'd rather put them in the spot like the 80s and 90s Giants. But if we get to a spot where they're winning 2 championships like the 2000s Giants, I'd say that's pretty good too. So there's a lot of rich history with this New York organization, but right now they're not in that spot. They're not on that climb. We got to get them back on track. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you go and enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. If you want to leave any suggestions for other teams you want to see me attempt to rebuild, leave them down below in the comments, whether it's your favorite team or team you hate, whatever it may be. Leave them down below and I might get to them in the future. I've got some good ideas for teams to rebuild in the upcoming weeks and months and upcoming videos. So I'm excited. Let's get into it because it's going to be a challenge. That is for sure. We got to deal with a lot of crap here in the first season of this rebuild. So if you go to enjoy, hit that like button and let's get started rebuilding the New York Giants. We have entered a new era. It is 2023, start of the season, but we are now the head coach of the New York Giants. Brian Daboll, however you want to pronounce his name, he's out of here. He's been fired because he sucks. He's nothing without Josh Allen. But this is the team we are set up with right now. We've got Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, quarterback of this team. He's a true 69 overall. Nice. This is the most up-to-date roster I could find. So this is what his ratings are right now. And if we go to that ever-important contract, It should be in Madden, and it is. We are paying Daniel Jones so much money. Not as much as what Russell Wilson's getting, obviously, but we are paying him so much money. And he's going to have a massive cap penalty if we were to move on from him. But like I was saying in the beginning, there are some bright spots in this team. Probably more so than what the Broncos had. We've got a better running back than Javonte Williams in Saquon Barkley, who is an absolute freak of nature and a stud, and I love him. He's so good. I love his calf muscles and his thigh muscles and his quad muscles. I love all of his muscles. He's so good. He's going to be a featured member of this organization. We're going to lock him up for the long term if we can have the cap space to do so, and he's going to be on this team when we win a championship. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to think at all about the running back spot. Wide receiver is a much different story. We've got Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, go Bucks, and then Sterling Shepard, but then we've got two younger guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. The only problem with these two guys is they've got normal development, so it's going to be very difficult unless we're in the right scheme and they're just absolutely getting force-fed to develop, which I might do with Jalen Hyatt. We might make him like a number 2 receiver, a number 3 receiver, switch to like a Kansas City playbook or a Dallas playbook or something like that, get him a lot of touches, and then he could go up. That's a possibility. The offensive line is in a much better spot than what the Denver offensive line was. We've got a franchise left tackle in Andrew Thomas. He's only 24 years old. He will hopefully be here for the entire rebuild. That is at least my goal. We don't have to worry about left tackle. As long as we can keep him under contract and we have the money to, he will be our left tackle for the entire series. John Michael Schmitz is our franchise center. He's going to be here for hopefully the entire rebuild as long as he can develop, because he's got hidden development. I'm assuming it's only star, so that's nice, because remember, offensive linemen in Madden barely ever develop if they don't have a development trait. And even with a development trait, it's hard to develop them. But at least he's going to have at least stars, so that'll be nice. So we don't have to worry about the 3 main positions, left tackle, center, and right tackle, because we have Evan Neal as well on the right side. So our bookends are good, and our exact middle is good. We just have to figure out those 2 guards positions, and I think we're probably going to focus that on the draft, because every draft always has good guards. So these 3 guys are going to be the cornerstones of our offensive line, and as long, like I keep saying, as long as the cap space works out, we should be able to hold on to all 3 of these guys for the entire rebuild. Tight end, not a lot of work to work with. We've got an older Darren Waller who's banged up a lot, used to be pretty good, but has had major injury history, so don't know what we want to do with him. I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty fat contract as well. And actually, this year he's not getting paid too much. So maybe he's a movable contract that some team that's a championship contender would take on, and maybe we can get like a 2nd-round pick for him or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. On defense, there is some promise. We have obviously the best player on this defense in Dexter Lawrence, another hopeful franchise cornerstone of the team. X Factor, only 25 years old. What a stud he is. Absolute amazing player. And then on the defense as well, you've got guys like Kayvon Thibodeau that I mentioned. You've got Azeez Ojulari. You've got the rookie Deonte Banks from, I think, Maryland, right? He went to Maryland? Yeah, Maryland is where he went. He's going to have, I think, star development, 94 speed. He's looking pretty good as the future, one of our future corners that we can hopefully develop. Boogie Basham is here, but he's older at this point. Isaiah Simmons has never really become anything. He's only 25, though. Maybe we can turn him into something in this series, or in this couple seasons. That could be a possibility. We'll see what we do. We got Bobby Okereke, but everything else is really up for grabs, like an older Leonard Williams. We've got big play Xavier McKinney, but I mean, it's just not really a whole lot there. We've got Cordell Flott, however you want to say it. He's a young guy from LSU. There's some interesting pieces, but this quarterback position is going to be the key, because like I always say, as long as you get a quarterback early on in a rebuild, you're going to be pretty set, because quarterback in simulation is the most important thing. So we got to find our quarterback, and it might come in the draft class. Let's load up the first one, and it looks like we've got a couple in the top. That's nice to see. We've got a left end from NC State, Carl Parks. But then we've got a couple quarterbacks. We're going to be in the market for a quarterback. And there's 2 top 5 projections right now, Gil Barwin and Dean Glenn. We obviously need to know a little bit more about them, like what their archetype is, and that we'll find out as we simulate a little bit further. But that is what we're looking like for the draft class. Hopefully we can find one in this first season. But that is basically all we got to do, because I guess we could go into... We want to be the worst possibly that we can be, and I think we will be, even if I don't do many trades. But our draft pick situation, we have every pick this year, so that's nice. We're going to have a top pick, but can we somehow finagle our way into a second first-round pick? If we trade Darren Waller, we can not get a first-round pick. We can get thirds, but I'm not really in the market for a third. Not for Darren Waller. Is there a team desperate enough to give me a first-round pick for a tight end? Probably not, but let's talk to the Cardinals, because they have 2 first-round picks. They have the Texans and then their own. Their tight end situation right now is Zach Ertz, Trey McBride, and Elijah Higgins. Would they give me the 3rd overall pick? That might be the Texan pick, so we have to keep an eye on the Texans. It's about halfway. I have a sneaky suspicion I can make this work. What about if I also gave them Leonard Williams? He's making so much money. Could I make this work? I'd probably have to give them another pick as well. They need a corner. We've got corners that I don't really want to give up. There's Darnay Holmes. I could just offload Adoree Jackson too. Do I want to do that? What does this bring it to? That brings us really close. And then we throw in a draft pick from a couple seasons down the road, like a 2 from 2026. That gets us the trade declined. And then we throw in a 5 from 2025. And that should get us the trade accepted. So Darren Waller, Leonard Williams, Adoree Jackson, a 2nd in 2026, and a 5 in 2025 gets us a 1st this year, and I think that's the Texans pick. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the Houston Texans and see how good they do this year. I guess we could officially check and see if that is the Texans pick or not. Draft pick. Oh, no, it's Arizona's pick, so we'll have to keep an eye on Arizona and see how good they do, plus we have our own pick. So we have 2 first-round picks this year, things that we can work on, and we offloaded some big contracts. We definitely offloaded some big contracts there. If we go to team salaries now, we currently sit with $44 million in space. We have some big penalties, obviously, for Daniel Jones. We're just going to have to ride that contract out, similar to what we did with the Russell Wilson deal. We're just going to have to ride it out and hope for the best is basically all we can do, because we're not going to be able to move on from it. Unless we want to eat some cap craziness, then we're just going to have to ride it out. But that is going to be the only move that I do. We traded for a top 5 pick. We'll see if it ends up being a top 5 pick by the end of the season, but I have a sneaky suspicion the Cardinals are not going to do great. So we'll see. And I have a sneaky suspicion we're not going to do great either, so we should have 2 top 5 picks, I hope. That was at least the goal when I traded for that pick. So I'm going to simulate to the midseason mark. We're going to see how we are. Hopefully we're bad, and we'll evaluate from there. Let's get to it. Okay, we sit at 3-4 at the midseason mark. That's not exactly where I want to be, but it's okay. Where are the Cardinals sitting at right now? The Cardinals are having a good season. They're having about as good of a season as we are. We're both 3-4. So that is that's a little interesting. I'm kind of concerned right now on how good both of us are doing. We're not doing good, and here is the first big money contract we have to re-sign Saquon Barkley. I said we're re-signing him for basically this entire rebuild, so 5 years, let's go 8-5 and then 5-5, and he should accept. So he's locked up for basically the entire thing. Everybody else could be up for grabs, but Saquon Barkley is officially locked up. Mainly the receivers. Xavier McKinney I might bring back just because he's kind of cheap. But everybody else, those receivers probably are going to get kind of get traded at the midseason mark. But right now, we've got ourselves mock draft number 2, and the quarterbacks are not up here. So that's actually good for us. The first quarterback on the board is Eric Jarrett. He's not even one that was projected top 5. Where are these top 5 quarterbacks at? Here's one of them, Gil Barwin. He's projected to go to us. But they have us projected to take both quarterbacks. I didn't even realize. So we've got an improviser and we've got a strong arm quarterback. Let me take a little peek skis. So we've got 6'4", out of Mizzou. He's got a beautiful spiral, good to great speed. He looks like a solid physical quarterback, and he's got good accuracies. How good is Gil Barwin, though? Gil Barwin, 6'1", not as athletic, but still a good arm. I think that Mr. Hugh Herring is the better option. At least that's what I'm kind of piecing together right now. And hopefully they stay around this area and they don't trend up later in the season, because that's going to make it harder for us. If we continue to play around this level, that's going to make it harder for us to draft them. We have to trade up. But as of right now, we're sitting pretty good to get a quarterback here. Is Eric Jarrett better than both of them? He's 6'3", not as good of an athlete. Okay, so they're all kind of the same, all 3 of them, except for Hugh, what's his name? Hugh Herring. He is more athletic than everybody else. He's more athletic than the other 2 guys. But other than that, they're about the same kind of guy. Then we've got this guy down here, Dean Glenn. And he's better athletically than the 2, not better than Herring. And he doesn't have the accuracy, so he's probably the worst one out of the bunch. But okay, there's some interesting quarterbacks early on. I'm kind of keying in on Hugh Herring. That name's gonna trip me up. I just know it. Double H's I'm not ready for. So let's go into this trade screen and talk about trading some receivers, because obviously we want to try to push Jalen Hyatt. So guys that are just not going to be on the team are Darius Slayton, probably a Sterling Shepard as well, and we might have to package both of them together because I don't see the value in Sterling Shepard by himself. So we can only get Paulson Adebo in a 6. We got Paulson Adebo in the Bronco rebuild, so I probably should stay away from him, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go right in, get Paulson Adebo. We trade away 2 receivers. That pushes Jalen Hyatt's agenda, which is nice. We can move him up the board a little bit. Maybe even make him the slot receiver and get him a lot of touches. So if we go and generate best lineup, we have star development on Smits. That's not a shock. Hyatt is now the 3rd receiver on the team, but if we go over here to specialists, we can make sure that he is in the slot. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. He is playing the slot, and I probably want Darnay Holmes playing slot corner, I guess, for right now. Whatever, doesn't matter. But as long as Jalen Hyatt is in the slot, he should get a lot of the touches, and hopefully that'll bump him up and have a good season. Maybe he could even win Offensive Rookie of the Year. That'd be amazing. I highly doubt it, but it could happen. You never know. It just matters on the offensive playbook and if Daniel Jones is getting him the football. So that is, I think, the only move we're going to make here in the midseason mark. I just wanted to get rid of those 2 receivers so that we could have Jalen Hyatt get more involved. I think I'm ready to go to the end of the season, see where we end up, see where the Cardinals end up, and figure out what the next move is headed into our first offseason of this rebuild. We've made it to the end of Season 1, at least the regular season of Season 1. We're at the playoffs, and we are actually in the playoffs this season. I don't know how we did it. We snuck in at 9-8. We are, I'm guessing, the last team in, 7 seed, and we are going up against the 2-seeded Niners. I don't think we should be here, but we are. We are a playoff team in year number 1. Not something I wanted necessarily, but hey, we're here, and it just shows you that these things can happen when you've got guys like Saquon Barkley, Dexter Lawrence, and it looks like some decent linebackers. And Deonte Banks is a star development player. I did re-sign Xavier McKinney during simulation, so he is re-signed. I also re-signed Isaiah Simmons, so those are the 2 big guys that I did off camera that have been re-signed to contracts, but everybody else, I'm pretty sure, is just going to get, like, they're going to leave. I'm just going to let them go. But I'm very curious to see where the Cardinals are at, because I don't know how they finished this year. So did the Cardinals, last time I checked, they were very bad. The Cardinals finished 7-10. So our draft picks are not going to be that good this year. That has backfired tremendously in my face. Not that good. Cardinals didn't make the playoffs, obviously, but they're still going to have a big pick. We have pick 12 and pick 20 right now, but we only have pick 20 because we don't know what our pick is officially going to be because we're still in the playoffs. If we go out right now, we'll probably have pick 20, or at least around there. But that didn't really work out too well. Let's take a look at these stats, though. I'm curious to see how we did. Daniel Jones was literally the most mid quarterback I've ever seen. He's got to go. We got to get a quarterback in the draft this year. It's got to happen. These are just bad numbers. 2,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 15 picks. Absolutely just dreadful. 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns for Saquon. What a bright spot he is. What a shining light he is in this offense. Receiving, just no production here, especially from Jalen Hyatt. I was hoping maybe putting him in the slot he would get some usage, but he didn't do it. He's not going to do anything, is he? On defense, Okereke had 114 tackles. Simmons had 100 tackles, so that's nice to see. Deontay Banks had a good season tackle-wise. Lawrence had 15 for loss. Boogie Basham had 13. Sack leader was Lawrence with 8.5. Simmons had 5. So Simmons had a really good year. 3 interceptions as well. That could be Defensive Player of the Year numbers right there. I don't know what everybody else had around the league, but he could be in contention at least. I'd like to see maybe a few more sack numbers, but hey, he's a linebacker. He probably is in contention for linebacker of the year, that's for sure. Kayvon had 3.5 with 65 tackles. Interception leader was Bobby McCain, excuse me, with 4. 3 for Simmons, 2 for a couple other guys as well. All right, it's just kind of a bad season, but maybe we can have that bright spot of Isaiah Simmons win Defensive Player of the Year. I highly doubt he's going to, but there's always that possibility. And let's see if we can go on some sort of weird miracle run in Season 1. Can we do it? Oh my God, we beat the Niners. Are we, for real, going to go on a miracle run? Are we going to beat the Philly Special? Is this really how this is going to happen? Divisional round against the Eagles. There's no shot. There's absolutely no shot we win this. Thank you. Okay. We lose 31-20. I knew there was absolutely no way we were going to beat the Eagles. If we would have beat them, I would have just died laughing because we would have been in the NFC Championship in the first year of the rebuild. We're not supposed to be here yet. We still gotta build this team. We haven't even got to the first draft yet. The Super Bowl is the Falcons and the Chiefs. So the Eagles lost to the Falcons in the NFC title game. Man, what a crazy season this has been so far. And the Chiefs do get it done. Mahomes gets another championship. So congratulations to him, I guess. Falcons always do well in simulation. I don't know why. Their playbook must be just really good. Mahomes gets the MVP of the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, MVP of the league. Micah Parsons takes the Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't think that we were going to win it, but there was always a chance. Bijan and Byron Young are the Rookies of the Year. So no awards for the Giants this year. Kind of sucks because we always look forward to that possible boost in the good old development traits and giving us that extra XP and stuff. So we move on to the first offseason. We have a good amount of money to work with. Our draft picks are a little bit spotty at this point. But like I said, I signed those 2 guys, McKinney and Simmons, during the simulation. So everybody else, we can kind of just pick and choose who we want and then just let everybody else walk. Bobby McCain had a good year, but he's 31. He's not super expensive. I guess I could be persuaded to bring him back possibly. Isaiah Hodgins, I might consider bringing back just to have another receiver, but I don't want to overpay for him. That's the thing. I guess I'll give him this. If he doesn't accept, it's fine. He's coming back. Okay. So Isaiah Hodgins is back. I love you, Paris Campbell. You're a Buckeye for life, but we're probably going to have to let you walk or trade you. Probably trade you. And then who was the other guy? It was Bobby McCain. He's 31. He had a pretty solid season. I guess for 2 seasons, and then we can kind of work with his contract after that. Maybe trade him if he's got value. If he doesn't accept this, he's coming back. Okay, so that's not even that bad of a contract. So those are the last 2 guys I want to bring back. I'll throw Paris Campbell and Darnay Holmes into a trade. See if we can get a couple 4th round picks or something for him. For Paris, we might be able to get a 3rd. You never know. Let's throw them in a trade together. That's Wandale. Paris, Campbell, and Darnay Holmes. Big play Darnay. What can we get for him? 6th round pick. We can't really even get a 3rd or 4th rounder? Really? Let me look around the league for receiving cores. The Bears would desperately need a receiver like Paris Campbell. Just they need bodies at receiver. So the Bears are an option. Who else could use a receiver like Paris Campbell? The Eagles need a receiver. They need just bodies as well, so the Eagles are an option. Falcons are always an option. Let's see, who else could use a guy like him? The Raiders need another receiver, but they've already got 3 that are in the 70-80 range, so maybe not. We could always try to go for Puka. I don't know if Puka could be a guy. You know what? I'm going to do that. We're going to try to trade for Puka Nacua. Can these 2 guys straight up bring him in? No, they cannot. So Puka's value is pretty... Hold on. Let me get rid of these 2 guys. Let me just see what Puka's value is at this point. No trade packages for Puka Nacua. All right, whatever. You do you. He's playing really well in real life, and it's showing in the game now. I'll go back to this, and we will try another situation. Maybe the Ravens could use a guy, but they have guys that are big play. Paris Campbell's a big play receiver, so he needs to be in a team like... I'm going to go with the Bears. The Bears obviously have a need at receiver, so we will... Oh, they have 2 first-round picks as well. Can I get a 4th-round pick this year for him from both? I can. So that's, I don't know why the trade offers were asking for 6s and 7s and stuff. I got a big 4th-round pick from him. Let's move on to free agency. We got a good amount of money. As long as this free agency is halfway decent, we can maybe make some things happen and fill some holes. Let me go, before we even take a look at who's in the free agency class, let me go get a plan set. So guard, unless there's somebody like crazy good in free agency, I think we're gonna try to focus in the draft on guard and address the position there. Tight end we do need to address, probably in free agency. And then pass rusher. Everybody else is looking pretty solid in terms of like age, overall, development trait, except for McCain. So if we can just focus on guard, tight end, pass rusher, and probably obviously receiver and quarterback, but quarterback we're going to do in the draft. So that's kind of the plan that we're looking at right now. Let's take a look at free agency. What kind of things are we looking at here? Tyron Smith, don't need a left tackle though. Josh Allen, don't need a linebacker. Stephon Gilmore, 6 guys going after him, don't really want to bid for him like that. Grant Delpit's interesting. Michael Pierce is interesting. Khalil Mack we could turn back into an edge rusher. That's an option. I don't hate that. Gesicki could be a nice fill-in tight end until we bring somebody in. Don't need a running back, even though Dalvin Cook has X factor. Quarterbacks, I'd rather stick with Daniel Jones than what we got here. Running backs don't need. Receivers, other than Mike Williams, you got Curtis Samuel. Rashid Shaheed, I do think is an interesting one. I might throw an offer in on him right away. He wants to be here too, so that's nice. We could probably get him for this. Let's offer Rashid Shaheed that. Tight end. Noah Fant's only 26. 3 guys are off. You think they're lowballing Gesicki? They could be very much lowballing Mike Gesicki here. I'll offer him 3 years, and we'll offer him 4 on that. Are they lowballing him? They were lowballing him, so we could get him hopefully on the cheap. And then we go to the left outside linebacker spot, and we talk to Khalil Mack, and we try to bring him in for kind of a bandage pass rusher, edge rusher. So we're the only team offering him that. I think we're going to save the rest of our money. I don't think there's anybody else that I want to go after. So let's go to the targeted. We got Khalil Mack, Mike Gesicki, and Rashid Shaheed. Let's evaluate. So Shaheed has signed with us. Perfect. The Bears are now in on Khalil Mack. They want him back. He has decided on team, and it's us. Khalil Mack is here. Mike Gesicki has also signed with us. So we got all 3 of the guys I wanted. We put a little bit of a Band-Aid on a couple positions and then add a little bit of depth to receivers. So now we have Isaiah Hodgins, Jalen Hyatt, and Rashid Shaheed, and Wan'Dale Robinson, I guess. Let's go to generate the best lineup. So Shaheed instantly becomes our highest overall receiver, which is very interesting. But then on defense, we're going to change Khalil Mack to make him an end. and he can hopefully be a little bit of a band-aid for us until we find a guy that is going to be the future. So let's move him down to probably right end. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Just move him down to right end, and he can go in and fill that spot. Boogie Basham is there. Actually, you know what? Let me make him a left end, because then Boogie Basham can at least play. So we'll change him to a left end. And then at least Boogie can get some play time. He can get some snaps. So if we go over here, we got Boogie playing and we got Mac playing. Okay, perfect. So then the linebacking core is looking good. We need a couple corners. All right, I like what we're working with here. We still obviously have a ton of holes to fill. And I love filling holes. But we got to get to the draft first. So let's simulate past free agency. I think that was a solid first free agent class. Getting 3 guys that can help us, one for the future in Shaheed because he's still super young, and then 2 guys in Gesicki and Khalil Mack that can just be band-aids until we figure out the true guys that are going to take over those positions. And it could happen in this first draft. There's a couple really good defensive players. There was a good pass rusher and a good linebacker that I did scout a little bit. It's just unfortunate that our draft picks are low this year. It's going to be pretty tough to get those guys. We probably have to trade a lot to get them, but I think they could be worth it. So we've got our final mock draft. Let's take a quick look at it. Where's everybody projected to go? You've got to be kidding me. Oh, they figured it out. This is the guy. Hugh Herring is he's the best quarterback in the class. I did some looking. We have 100% on every single quarterback. So I did some little peek. And he is the best quarterback in the class by far. And, of course, he jumps up to the number 1 overall. Was he projected? How long has he been projected? Since mock draft number 3, he's been projected? Oh, they figured out how good he was. And Carl Parks is the other guy that I was talking about. He looks like a freak of nature. He's 6'5" with elite speed, elite acceleration. And he's got B block shed, B finesse moves, A power moves. As a power rusher, he looks like a freak. He's going to be so good. So these 2 were the guys I was hoping to come out of the draft with. And, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. We pick at 14 and we pick at 25. So this is going to be quite the challenge to get these 2 players. Broncos and Lions are going to have to be the guys that we trade with, because I got to come away with both those guys. I got to come away with a quarterback, and there's no other quarterback in this class that I want. I mean, look at these top 5 talent. I mean, Eric Jarrett is potentially the only other guy that I would want, but I don't even want him because he doesn't look amazing, and everybody else is just kind of straight garbage. So Hugh Herring is the guy that I wanted. He's mobile. He's got good accuracies. He's clearly the best quarterback in the class. So Broncos and Lions, how are we going to make this happen? I have absolutely no idea. I'm going to finalize Carl Parks, and I'll finalize some other guys as well. I don't know. Who else should we even scout? I mean, it's not going to matter. We're not going to need these guys anyway, so we might as well go for, like, late round players. So let's go to, like, a receiver. Is there any receivers in the back half that look kind of good? There's a couple physical guys down here in round 2 to 3. This guy's 6'8". What? 6'8", 234, with elite jumping, obviously. I've never seen a receiver 6'8". I know that was like a kind of a thing in this game where you could get that build, but we gotta learn about David Lentz. My God. 6'8"? Are you kidding me? And we'll learn about George Pierce as well as Carl Parks again. So 6'8"? That's crazy. I want to go and put these guys on the board. So Carl Parks, Quincy, Tyreek Miller, Hugh Herring, obviously, and then that receiver, what's his name? David Lentz, and then the guard, George Pierce. Okay, those are the guys that I just want to keep an eye on. We're not going to be able to get many of them. Those are the guys that I want. So we'll advance next week just because I want to find out if Carl Parks is true top 5. I think he is, but I really want to know if he actually is. So let's go to this. Is he true top 5? He is true top 5. He's such a stud. He's such a stud. He's going to be so good. What about this dude, David Lentz? We got him 90%, which is good enough to draft him. 6'8". He cannot move at all, but he's 6'8". He could be our tight end. This guy we could move him to tight end and he could be unbelievable. And then we know about George Pierce. He could be our guard of the future. He looks good physically, and he looks good enough skill-wise. So we've got our guys. We know what we want to do. We just have to be able to get in position to do it, and that's going to be very tough. The number 1 pick is going to be so difficult to trade for. I don't even honestly know if I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. Why did they have to figure out that he was good? And the Broncos need a quarterback too. We just rebuilt this team. There's no trade packages for it, obviously. Oh my God, this is going to be impossible. This is going to be absolutely impossible. Do you want Daniel Jones? I'll give you a quarterback. Do you want Danny? You want Danny Dimes? I can give you a quarterback. His cap hit's going to be too much. We can't do that. Oh, how do I get this? How do I make this work without trading like Dexter Lawrence or Saquon Barkley? I don't think I'm going to be able to. I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to. Am I really going to miss out on this quarterback just because we had a better season than we should have? I don't think I'm going to be able to get the pick. I just don't have the assets to do it. We could try to trade with the Lions for pick number 2 and take the pass rusher. Okay, that's a lot more manageable. That is a lot more manageable. I'll throw in a 4th round pick because I have 2 of those. That didn't really move the needle too much, did it? They need a left outside linebacker. We have Azeez Ojulari. I don't really want to give him up. I like Okereke and Simmons. And I obviously like Kayvon Thibodeau. I could be persuaded to give up Boogie Basham because if we're going to get this pass rusher, we don't need him. But they can't take a player because they don't have any cap space. Of course they don't. So what we're going to have to do is give up a 3rd round pick probably. That moves the needle a little bit. It's going to have to be more than just that. We're going to have to give up a 2nd round pick next year. Oh. It could be 2 firsts, I guess. I could give up my 2026 first. Where does that put us? That puts us in a good spot. So 2 firsts. I'll keep that 4 in there. That's not going to really do much, probably. It puts it in the green. And I'll give away my 2025 3rd. It's going to be so tough. It's going to be so tough. I guess I could give them my 2025 2nd. That does help out a lot. And then we give away the 4 and the 3. And it's still not good enough. Oh my God. Why? Why? And they don't have the cap space. I can't throw a player in because they don't have the cap space. Unless we have a player that just doesn't make any money. That we don't want. Is there any player that just doesn't make any money that I don't want? Eric Gray makes too much for them. Daz Newsome. Do they want Daz Newsome? Is he gonna help the team? Help the trade? He doesn't help it at all. Thanks, Daz. I knew I could count on you. Let's go to draft picks again. We're giving up so much. 2 firsts, a 2nd, a 3, and a 4. And that's still not good enough. I could give up my 2nd this year, but I was hoping not to. I was hoping to be able to keep that. Obviously, I could trade both of these first, but I want to keep another 1st round pick just in case. So maybe if I do this, but I get rid of this, and I get rid of this. So 2 firsts and 2 seconds? How's that? Trade off for decline, but it's very close. So if I throw in one of the 4s that I have, no, maybe even a 5. Maybe I could keep those 4s. How about if I throw in a 5 this year? Trade-off declined. Okay, I can make that work because we can throw in a 5 in 2026 as well. Trade-offer accepted. Okay, so we got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 5 and a 5, and 2 5. Oh, I should have just 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 5s for the second overall pick from the Lions. And we managed to do that without giving up our other first-round pick this year. Now, you might be thinking that's a dumb thing to do. We should have just gave up both our first-round picks this year. But maybe, just maybe, now that we have pick 2... Oh, man, we have no picks now. Now that we have pick 2, we could trade for the quarterback. We could trade pick 2 for pick 1 for the Broncos pick. We'd have to give up on that pass rusher. Is that the smart thing to do? Because there could be quarterbacks that are good in the next couple of years, but there also could be pass rushers that are good. I don't think we can pass up on this quarterback. I think he's just going to be too good to pass up on, so we're going to try to trade up 1 spot. Get the first overall pick from the Broncos. They're really that different. I can't give up any more draft picks. And they don't have cap space either. It looks like we're not going to get the quarterback. I just can't give up any more picks. I can't do it. I can't give up any more picks. Not in good conscience. I can't do that. So we have pick number 2. We're going to have to watch the Broncos get their franchise guy. And they take him. They take the QB, Hugh Herring. We're going to take Carl Parks. I could trade down and get a bunch of draft picks in return and be set up for the future. But I think that Carl Parks is just too good to pass up on. So we're going to draft him. Yeah, we're gonna draft him. Carl Parks, welcome to the New York Giants. 86 speed, 87 strength, 90 acceleration. Number 2 overall pick. I'm really hoping he's got superstar X factor, because if he doesn't, if he only has star, I'm gonna be very upset that we could have traded down. There goes Quincy. Glenn Nash goes. Quentin Davidson. There goes Tyreek Miller. I did take a look at him. We could have moved him to guard or something. But remember, we still have that first round pick at pick 25, so we're still sitting pretty good for our picks. I just really wish I had that quarterback, man. All right, we make it to our pick 25. We don't pick again till the 3rd round because I traded that pick away. How's our favorites board looking? All we have is David Lentz and George Pierce. Not a shocker. He's projected to go round 2. He's projected to go round 3. He's probably going to be here at our 3rd pick. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. But David probably isn't. But is he a first-round talent? I doubt it. He's probably not a first-round talent. He's probably only normal development. Just because he's 6'8" doesn't mean he's going to have a development trait. So this could be a spot where we trade back. Try to recoup some of that draft capital that we just traded away. So the Vikings would give us a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd from next year. I like that. Is there any way we can get more first-round picks? Probably not. I highly doubt it, but it is possible. I do like this Vikings pick. This Vikings trade is probably the best one. I can't even counteroffer it. I'm going to accept this. So we're going to do that, and we are going to bank on the Vikings being bad. Hopefully they are. I doubt they will be. But maybe. But that does give us 2 first-round picks for next year. And it gives us a second-round pick that I think we traded away. So we do have a second-round pick now. Into the 2nd round. When do we think that he goes in the 2nd round? Does he even make it to the 3rd round? I want to get this receiver, but I don't know when I didn't look at the mock draft for where he'd go. I don't want to go to the roster. I should have looked more carefully at where he would go in the mock draft, but I don't even think he wasn't in the mock draft because he was in the 1st round pick. So where is he projected here, though? We still got a lot of 1st to 2nd round guys on the board, and he's 2nd to 3, or 2 to 3, I should say. So he's like 20 spots on the board. So we have a comfortable time unless somebody reaches for him. Maybe they see that 6'8" body and they just say we got to take him here. I don't know, but we can afford to trade, or we can afford to move down the board a little bit here. See some picks go off the board. We're into the middle half of the round, and we're still sitting pretty good. There goes Phil Schaefer, linebacker. All right, we're entering the 20s, and this is right around where he was on the board. So how far down is he now? He's about 8 spots on the board. He's 8th on the board. Okay, so now we're in territory where I could definitely see him getting taken. Packers have back-to-back. You know what? If he makes it to one of these Packer picks, we could make some things happen. Let's trade. Okay, let's talk with the Packers about pick 22. They have 2 picks. They don't need 2 picks. This might be a little bit of a reach, but I think he's going to be good. Even if he doesn't have a development trait, I think he could be good just because he's 6'8". And if we move him to tight end and we go to Kansas City offense, he'll absolutely be good. So, got to think about that stuff. Got to think about that stuff. So, let's go to talk to the Packers. Talk to Green Bay about their second round pick. Draft picks, pick 54. What do they want for it? They want a first. You're not going to get a first. Sorry. I'm not giving you a first. He's certainly not worth it, that's for sure. But now we do have 2 first-round picks next year, which is nice. We have a second, and now we have 2 thirds. So we did recoup a little bit of assets for 2025, which is nice to see. I don't want to just go right away and turn that around into another trade, but they don't have any cap room, so we have to. So if I trade you one of my 4th-round picks and one of the 2 4s. How's 2 4s? Where does that set us at? Okay, that's not good. I'll give you one of the 3s I just got. Still not good. I don't think we can do this trade. We can't do this trade. I don't want to give up. I'm trying to be so strategic, and it's just not really working out for me, is it? DJ Richardson goes. Jerry Sheldon. The problem is we pick so late into the 3rd round that he's definitely going to be gone by then. There's no way he makes it to pick 25 of the 3rd round. So we got to get into the 2nd round at some point. Or we just bite the bullet and don't draft him. I guess that's also a possibility. There goes Jared Hancock. I think he was the only other receiver holding him back. Yeah. Oh no, Zach Alford's also here. So I guess if there's a team that wants another receiver, they could take Alford. But we're getting to the brink of things here. There goes Zach Alford. So now any team that wants a receiver, he's the next one up. He's best available. I don't think he can make it to the 3rd round, but it would be a lot easier to trade for a 3rd round pick than it is a 2nd round pick. Spencer Foster goes. He was another receiver. He was behind him. Jags take the quarterback, the bust quarterback, who was like undrafted. Chad Farr goes. Timmy Lane. Glenn Staley. We're into the 3rd round here, and he is 2nd on the board. I don't know how he's gotten to this point, but I'm not going to complain. Let's talk to Seattle. And now, since we draft him in the 3rd round, I didn't mean to go to that. Now, if we do get this pick and draft him in the 3rd round, it wouldn't be as much of a reach as if we draft him in the 2nd round. So I like that a little better. Let's talk to, who is this? The Seattle Seahawks who have the pick? Let's talk to the Seahawks. I don't know why it started me on the Cowboys. Okay, so trading for a 3rd round pick shouldn't be too hard. They have 2 3rd round picks, so they shouldn't be too upset about trading this away. I could trade up with my 3, but I'll give them a 4. Okay, it's got to be the 3. It's got to be the 3. Give them my 3, swap 3s, and then I'll give them a 4, and I'll give them a 6 in 2025. That's close. That's very close. I'll give them a 6 in 2026. That's even closer. I'll give them a 5. I don't have any 5s, do I? I traded all my 5s. Okay, I'll give them 2 6 in 2025. I don't want to give them 2 4s. That's not really worth it. Okay, we got away with 3 6. So a 3 of 4, a 5, 3 of 4 and 3 6s gets us the first pick of the 3rd round, which will let us draft this 6'8" receiver. And now we're banking on the fact that that guard is going to be there in the top of the 4th round. I highly doubt it, but we're going to find out. He is hidden development. I wasn't sure if he was going to be, because just because he's 6'8" doesn't mean he's going to be guaranteed hidden development. He's 85 speed at 6'8", 96 jumping, 80 acceleration. If we turn him into a tight end, he could be unbelievable. He could really, really be unbelievable. So we got 2 guys that are unbelievably good. Let's go to our next pick. Please tell me that guard is going to be there. Please tell me that guard, because he's going to be so good. Please tell me he made it. Please tell me he made it. He didn't make it. Oh, okay. He's not there. What do we do now? We pivot. Is there anybody that's good? Or do we just have to trade this pick away or let the CPU handle? I think we have to let the CPU do whatever they want to do, because I am not seeing any value at all. Is there happen to be a fast speed rusher we could take a flyer on? Not you. I think we just, now that that guard's not there, I think we just let the CPU handle this. This guy was supposed to go 2 to 3. He's not good. That's why he's fallen. He's not good. I'm just gonna let the CPU handle this. It's not worth it. I don't want to take somebody that's a scrub. So we're just gonna simulate the draft, end it. We got 2 guys that are good. We didn't get the quarterback, even though I wanted him so badly. It just didn't make sense. We barely made sense on the 2nd round pick, or the 2nd overall pick. Luckily, I was able to get that 1st round pick back, so now we have 2 1st round picks for next year. Draft recap, how good are the 2 guys we got? He's an 81. That makes me feel a little better. He's got to have superstar or something. He's got to have something like that, right? He's got to be so good. That makes me feel a lot better that he's an 81 overall. He is 23, but he looks super good. Him paired alongside with Khalil Mack and Dexter Lawrence for the first year, I'm going to like that a lot. And then obviously David Lentz. Can we turn him into a tight end? What does he become as a tight end? He's already a 73. What does he become as a tight end? Save changes. He becomes a 75 as a tight end. Okay, that makes it look a little bit better. Then they took an actual tight end, Troy Chumley. Does he have a development trait? He does not. They took a quarterback, Ronald Burrell. He is normal development and sucks. And then they took a guard, Brandon Martin, who also is bad. Let's take a look at the class. How good was that quarterback? Please don't tell me he has X Factor. Please. He's only a 75. We got the best player in the class. I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to be the best player in the class. He is only a 75, that quarterback, though. Where is he at? Here he is. Hugh Herring. Please, oh please, baby Jesus, tell me he has star. He's got superstar. Okay, it's not X Factor, but he's got superstar. Ugh. Okay, if it was X Factor, I'd be even more angry, but that's still not good that we miss out on a superstar quarterback. We just got to hope that next season there's a quarterback in the draft that we can actually get. We have 2 first-round picks. We got to keep, instead of last year we had to keep an eye on the Cardinals, this year we got to keep an eye on the Vikings. Make sure that they have a bad season. I'm not even sure how good of a season we're going to have, to be honest with you. So we got Gesicki and Lentz. The guard position is not great. Tackle position's looking okay. We got to develop those guys. Quarterback's not great. Running back's awesome. Jalen Hyatt, I want to be my number 2. Probably my number 1, but... And then defensively, we got Parks, Lawrence, and Mack. I like that. I like the defense. The defense looks good in terms of development traits, overalls, young guys. We look pretty good. The offense is still a work in progress, but it's only season number 2. I'm going to simulate to the mid-season mark. I'll catch you guys up there, and we'll see where this team is at. See if we need to make any trades to get worse, or just kind of ride it out and see how it goes. So I'll see you guys at the mid-season mark of year number 2. We are here at the mid-season mark of year number 2. We currently sit at 4-3. Better than we were last year at this point. We were 3-4, I think. So it's nice to see the boys actually starting to play well. And I mean, we made the playoffs last year, so, and I think we got better to an extent. We're playing at least good morale, so that's nice. Daniel Jones is a true 73. That's always good to see. And then on defense, he's only star. Really? How are you not superstar at the least? Oh, how are you not at least a superstar, Carl Parks? Oh, that's crazy. I mean, star is fine, but for the second overall pick, having only star, that just blows. That blows. Absolute heavy blow. Negotiations, people that need new contracts, Aziz, Paulson Adebo. We're going to accept the options on both those guys, obviously. And Jamie Gillian. So definitely want to bring him back because I don't want to focus on punters. So let's just sign him for like 7 years. And bump up the bonus and he'll sign. Really, the punter is telling me to bump up the bonus? The audacity. I want to bring back Aziz. But if I do, that's going to be hard to bring back Paulson Adebo. That's the only problem. Aziz is back. We might have to trade Paulson. We could get him back. It's possible to bring back Paulson Adebo. What about if I give him this? He's coming back. Okay, so we have no money, but I can trade away like Boogie Basham and all these guys to re-sign Jamie Gillian. I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I mean, we don't need a punter because punting simulation doesn't really matter. So it's not like I need to sign him. But I mean, the Scottish Hammer is always nice to have. Prospects. What do we got? We got ourselves a scrambling quarterback. I like the look of that. So we've got Travis Hazelton, 6'3" scrambler, but his speed is only decent to solid, and he's a scrambling archetype. I mean, he looks good. Okay, we'll keep an eye on him. I'll favorite him. What about Morris Graham? He is a 6'3" strong arm from Fresno. The next great Derek Carr. He's got a cannon. He looks not as good, but we'll keep an eye on him as well. We obviously need a quarterback. And then we've got J.J. Averill, 6'4", out of Michigan State pass rusher, who looks unreal, except for his speed. He looks like a speed rusher. Is that what he is? Yeah, okay. I didn't even notice that's what he was. We'll keep an eye on him, too. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on the top 3 guys, just to make sure. Just to make sure we got our ducks in a row. How are the Vikings doing mid-season? The Vikings are having a bad year. They're 1-5. Okay, if they can keep this up and be one of the worst teams, then we will have ourselves an absolute steal of a draft pick right there. Oh, baby. Okay, we got to keep that in mind. Keep it up, Vikings. Keep being bad. Keep sucking. I'm going to simulate to the end of the season. Maybe we'll make the playoffs again. I have no idea. That'd be the first time, I think, in any rebuild where I've made the playoffs in the first 2 seasons without really doing anything. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's find out. I'll get to the playoffs, and we'll see where we are. We've made it to the end of Season 2, to the playoffs of Season 2, and we are not a part of them this year. We had a bad year, 6-11, but maybe last season was kind of a fluke. We were 9-8. We snuck in as the 7th seed, and we won a playoff game, actually, that we probably shouldn't have. We had no business winning. So maybe that's a possibility, but it's nice to see some good morale across the board. Offensive line's not having good morale, but at least the skill position guys are. We know that we've got a stud in Carl Parks. We know that we've got a stud in Dexter Lawrence. We've got great guys on the offensive or on the linebacking core. I did re-sign Paulson Adebo. You saw that, so we are good on the secondary spot. How did the Vikings do? Did the Vikings make the playoffs after that horrible start? Let's find out. Bengals are 15-2. The Vikings, I don't see them at the bottom half. They finished 8-9. They were 1-5. How did they do so well? Why can I never have any luck? Oh, man. I thought I was actually going to have some good luck where the Vikings pick was going to be super good because they ended up being really bad. But, I mean, it looked like it was going to be that way. They were 1-5. Oh. Or 1-6, whatever they were. I don't know. That's just depressing that they couldn't continue to be bad. How do you have that such a turnaround, man? You had 1 win through halfway point of the season. You turn around, you get 7 wins. Raiders get the W in the Super Bowl, so congratulations to whoever the quarterback is. Jimmy G? Who's the quarterback in Vegas? Who won the Super Bowl? It is Josh Jacobs is the MVP. Burrow goes back to back on the regular season MVPs. We don't win any awards, but Hugh Harry is Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's so good. He's going to be an X Factor now. I should have tried it. I should have tried to trade up. I honestly should have. I had the number 2 pick. I should have tried to trade up from 2 to 1. He's a freaking X Factor now. And he's being wasted in Denver. Absolutely wasted. I don't think that there's anybody else I need to re-sign. Oh, we need to pick up the options on Kayvon and Evan Neal. We are going to have to pay them next year. That's going to be a big contract talks. And we're just not going to be able to pay Jamie Gillian, so it's not a big deal. We're just going to lose out on a punter. But punter does not honestly matter, so we're going to let that go. And there's some interesting players in this draft class I was taking a look at during the Week 11 private workouts. So there's a fast receiver, or at least he had grade to elite speed. And I'm very curious to see how good he is. I used my private workout on him. So free agency, we're not going to be able to do much because we only have like $2 million and we have $3 million. And we have to save that money for Thibodeau and Evan Neal or whoever it was. So we are not going to sign anybody in free agency. We're going to go all the way to the draft and try again with these draft picks. Our draft pick is going to be better this year because obviously we didn't make the playoffs. We were one of the more bad teams in the league, not the worst team, obviously. Unfortunately, the Vikings did good. Did good enough, I should say. They didn't do good. They did good enough to ruin our pick. And now we sit in a weird spot. This is the spot you don't want to be in when it comes to the draft. You don't want to be in a spot like this. That's where we are. So let's take a look at mock draft numero 5. So J.J. Averill is the number 1 overall pick. I would be interested in him if we were in a spot to get him, but we're just not in a spot to get him, so we're not even going to worry. This guy, Morris Graham, is a top 5 true talent, but he can't move. And that doesn't necessarily matter in simulation, so he's an option. Travis Hazelton's also the other quarterback that I was looking at, but he's actually around 2 to 3 talent, so he's probably got normal development. But he doesn't look much worse than the dude at the top. Honestly, he doesn't look that much worse. Then we've got, where was that receiver? Is he a first-round pick? This guy I was looking at, Damian Sutton. He's a corner. He's 6'2". He's a man corner, but he also has B zone coverage, so he makes me think that he's a freak. Makes me think he's a little freak. Where is this receiver at? Is he not a first-round talent? He might not be a first-round pick unless I just passed him. I don't know. Where's our picks at? So we pick at pick 13 and pick 6. They have us taking Hazelton. I don't know if he's the guy. Morris Graham might be better. His awareness is an A. He's got A under pressure and A medium. He's got B deep and short. What does Hazelton have? Hazelton has better speed. He's better athletically. His awareness is a C, but he's got A short and deep and A awareness, or A throw under pressure. But his medium actually is also a B. Or no, his is a B. No, that's backwards. So the 3 stats right there flip. Flip? Honestly, I don't know who's better. I think Morris Graham is the better guy. But Hazelton also, in the right scheme, in the right playbook, could be as good. I'll talk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ask them for the 2nd overall pick. Maybe we can find a way to get him. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Let's go to the favorites board. He is a round 1 projection, but this is the guy I was talking about, Spencer Swain. He's only got great speed. He had great to elite, but it looks like it's only great. So I'm less interested in him now. I want to know for sure on Damian Sutton. We don't need to know on all these guys because I'm not going to take J.J. Averill. We already know all of these guys, and I don't really care about Spencer Swain that much anymore. So we can go and just focus on some other guys, I guess. How's the guard position? I haven't taken a look at all at the guard position, so is there anybody, maybe a center that's sneaky good? There's a day 3 guy that could be something, I guess. Any guards that are good? Because we still need to figure out the guard spots. Our guard positions are not amazing. There's a couple guys with ratings that are intriguing. How good is this guy? Cam Aldridge, 6'3". He's very good physically for a center. He's day 3. I need to know more about him, so I'm gonna use one of my things on him. But is there anybody else that I want to learn about in the offensive line positions? Not necessarily you. Is there a tackle that we can maybe move to guard? 6'5", 307 is not really a guard, but he does have the physicals. He's a round 1 guy too. So I'll use it on him. We'll use it on Cam Aldridge, and we will use it on the guy that we had in favorites, who is Damian Sutton, the corner. So those are the 3 guys that we will use it on. And then I will go in here and just quickly grab those guys for the favorites board. So McFarlane and then Aldridge. There we go. Perfect. So now we aren't going to lose out on early. We're not going to lose track of those guys. Let's simulate to the draft and see where those true overalls are at. Because we're going to figure out for sure how good that corner is, how good Sutton is. Let's go to the prospects. Go to our favorites board. He's a top 5 true talent. We know 90% on both of these guys as well. We're definitely taking Cam Aldridge, that's for sure. We could put him in one of our guard spots. But 6'5", 307 is probably not a guard. We got to talk to... I got to see the mock draft, though. Where's Sutton projected to go? Mock draft number 5. Damian Sutton is projected to go 19. All right. That is ahead of both of... Or that's behind both of our picks. We have pick 13 and pick 6. So we're in a good spot to take Damian Sutton. What about the other? What about that tackle? Where was he at? His name was... oh, he's a top 5 pick. Javon McFarlane. I didn't even realize he was a top 5 pick. So we're not going to get him. I didn't even realize that. He's a top 5 pick. We're not going to be getting him. I am going to talk to Tampa Bay, and I'm going to ask them, hey Tampa, you want to fall down a couple spots, not get your franchise quarterback, and let us get him? Maybe? How do you think about that? Pick number 2. I'll trade you pick number 6. How far away are we? Pretty far, if we're being honest. Okay, but hey, we got new picks because 2027's here, so I can offer you a 3rd round pick in 2027, and we can shake hands and call ourselves a day. I guess that didn't move the needle whatsoever. So I'll just swap that out for a 2. And didn't do much. I don't want to give up. Why is it so difficult? It's always so freaking difficult, man, to just trade up a couple spots. I need to work on that talent tree to get up, make it easier to trade up. I do have enough staff points. Hold on. Would it work right away, or would I have to simulate a week? Because I could do that, technically. I haven't simulated... No, I couldn't. I have to start the draft. But what about if I go to the franchise staff and I go all the way over to my player personnel thing and I work on the one that says trade discounts? Is there one for the draft? Is it this one? It might be this one. Okay, it's this tree. Let's go trade up. Trade up. Non-X Factor players. Definitely want to get that. Plus 2% trade discount for CPU players. We want to get this one boosted, definitely. But then that one, okay. So basically I've boosted everything I need to. Reduce the cost of trading up during the draft, definitely want to get that one. Okay, so the trade section of the player personnel tree is basically full. Well, it is full. So that's good to know. we'll just boost up that as well. Might as well. Okay, so we've boosted that up, but I don't know if it's going to count right away. I might have to simulate a week for it to register. But I did get that up. Is it easier to trade now? Oh, why is it so difficult to get a quarterback? Oh, it's almost like it's hard to find franchise quarterbacks. First round pick number 2 for pick number 6. Are we similar or is it easier now? It might be slightly easier. I don't remember where it was at, if we're being totally honest. I'll give you that 2027 2. Okay, we weren't in the green. So it is, I think, a little easier. It's just a matter of what do I give up to get him? How desperate am I for a quarterback? Probably pretty desperate. I'll switch that pick out. Pick 70. That moves the needle a little bit. I gotta keep this second round pick. I can't have 2 drafts in a row where I don't have a second round pick, so I gotta keep that one. So what I'm gonna do is give a 3rd in 2027. I'm gonna ruin my 2027 draft. I've already ruined my 2026 draft, that's for sure. But getting a quarterback is the priority. Because if we have a quarterback, then we can not have to worry too much about the draft. And it seems like they are going to make me have to just struggle, aren't they? Trade offer was accepted. It was so much to move up from 6 to 2. I'm not even asking to trade up from like 32. We traded up from 6 to 2. We did keep our other first round pick so we can draft that corner. But we have the 2nd overall pick again for the 2nd straight year. And J.J. Averill goes 1. And we're going to get our franchise quarterback. He's going to be our franchise quarterback. I don't care what happens. He is going to be our franchise quarterback. Morris Graham, welcome to the New York Giants. You are now the new franchise guy here. He has 97 throw power. He cannot move. 70 speed, but that doesn't matter too much in simulation. 97 throw power. If we get him in the right scheme, alongside Barkley and all that stuff, we should be smooth sailing for his development. Plus, he has hidden already, so he's looking like the franchise guy. We might have finally gotten ourselves our franchise quarterback. The Buccaneers actually took the guy that we were supposed to take, Hazleton. So basically, we just swapped quarterbacks. We just traded Hazleton for Graham, basically, is what happened there. And now we get to pick 13. I could trade back to recoup some picks for next year. But who cares about next year when we are trying to win a championship? Who cares about the draft? If we go to selection, where's he at on the board? He is 6th on the board. He's going to be so good. I can't risk it. I got to take him. I know we could trade back. I get it. But we're trying to get good right now. He's only normal development. Okay. 94 speed, 92 excel. I mean, A man coverage, B zone coverage. He's already going to be good. He probably is like our 2nd best corner. He's probably better than Paulson Adebo at this point. A little bit upsetting that he only has normal. I thought he probably would have had like star or something at least. We're into the 2nd round now. Let's take a look at our favorites board. It's only Cam Aldridge. Well, we're going to... we can't... Not in the 2nd round. We can't take him in the 2nd round. No. He's a day 3 guy. We can get him in the 3rd round. What else is on the board? We got this guy, Matthias Roman. I didn't even notice this guy, but he doesn't look horrible. And for a 2nd round pick, that might not be a bad shout. I don't hate that pick. Or I don't hate that player. He looks fine. And I'm not really seeing a whole lot that jumps off the page left on the board. So I think that's going to be our guy. We're going to take Matthias Roman. He's going to hopefully have development trait. He does. 85 strength. He's going to be our new right guard. And then when we draft the dude in the 3rd round, he's going to be our left guard. So we've pretty much just fixed our offensive line in this draft. And this will be our final pick because we're not going to take the 7th round guy. It's not a big deal. So here he is, Cam Aldridge. He's a center now, but he's not going to be a center in the future. He only is normal? Man, this draft is throwing me for a loop. How does he only have normal? He's so good. He's honestly probably one of the best centers in the class, I would think. But only having normal is going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him a lot. Hopefully his overall as a base is pretty good. And maybe even if we move him up to left guard, he will he'll go up in overall. That's also a possibility. So we'll keep an eye on that. Please tell me our quarterback is a stud. Please, please tell me he's a stud. He's a 77. Okay, we can work with that. We can work with the 77 with development trait, definitely. Sutton is a 77 as well. Roman and Aldridge are both 72s. They're probably better than what we have already, so they're going to start. Let's go to the full class and see how good it was. It was bad. It was a bad class. We got the best player, or at least tied for the best player in the class. And that is... And we also missed out on 2 corners, especially one in the 3rd round that looks to be better than the guy that we got, or at least tied for the better than he probably has development traits. So where is that quarterback at? I don't see him on the board yet. I guess I could just go to the 1st round and see where he's at. He got picked at pick 6. He's only a 72. And he only has normal. I feel better. I feel better that we traded up, because I would have been super depressed if we would have taken Hazleton. So I do feel better taking Morris Graham. I'm going to change our playbooks. We don't need to be in the Giants playbook anymore. We are going to benefit from an overpowered playbook. I might go Cowboys. I'm not 100% sure yet. We do have that tight end, Lentz, so we could go Chiefs. I'm going to change Aldridge to left guard. Forgot to do that. And then he's going to start over Joshua Azudu. So let's move him to left guard. And he hopefully is even better or the same. He is a 73, so he's a little bit better. So he starts there. Roman will start at right guard. He should at least start at right guard. I don't know why he's not. Is he not a right guard? Matthias Roman is a right guard. He's the same overall as freaking Azudu. If I generate best lineup, he should just go up high. What? Start at right guard. I'll change that, whatever. I might even just trade Joshua Azudu. So the offensive line is going to look a lot better with Roman there. The receiving core is not great, but Graham has Barkley, and he's got Lentz to work with. Then on the defense, Okarike is actually a superstar. So is Parks. Okay. So we're getting some development from the boys. We're looking good. I'm probably going to change the defensive playbook as well. We're going to go all out, boys. This is year number 3. We're getting into the thick of things. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. We're getting into the good stuff here. I'm going to simulate to the midseason mark. I'll let you know when we get there. I'll let you know what playbooks we switch to, all that kind of good stuff. And hopefully we're on pace for a playoff run. I don't know. We'll find out. We've made it to the midseason mark of year number 3, and boys, the Dallas Cowboy playbook is working wonders on our team. We are 7-0, coming off of a 6-win season just last year. We have not lost a game yet. Now, I doubt that we're going to continue this pace, but starting 7-0 is unbelievable. And Matthias Roman and Morris Graham have star development. I am a drafting god. You guys might have doubted it. I am a drafting god. Roman has superstar. So does Morris Graham. He is him. 22 years old, rookie from Fresno State with 97 throw power. Just get rid of that arm and put a cannon on it. He's a freak of nature. Absolute stud. You love to see it. He's got interesting receivers to throw to, but it's working for him. Offensive line's looking pretty decent. Then on the defensive side of things, we already knew that Carl Parks was an amazing, studly person. Sutton, I really wish he had star development or something. Maybe if he wins like Rookie of the Year or something, he can get it. But I'm liking the way this is looking. The only thing I'm worried about is the contract negotiations. Because Kayvon Thibodeau, we just accepted his option, and Evan Neal, I think, is the other guy that we needed to accept options on. And now their contracts are due. I think they should be, at least, right? They should be here somewhere. No, they're not. Okay, we have to accept Deonte Banks' option. but I thought that they were gonna be here. I guess if they're not here, that's awesome. They don't need new contracts. Oh wait, that might be the next season. This might be their option year. I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm thinking. So we're sitting pretty good. We're 7-0. I'm liking where things are at right now. Remember, we don't have any first round picks. We don't have any picks until I think the 3rd round in this year's draft. So don't get too attached to any of these names on this draft board, because we do not have any picks, and we're not really in a position to trade for any picks because we might win a Super Bowl this year. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it could happen. With our quarterback leading the way, Morris Graham, we are the real deal. So I'm going to simulate to the end of the season. We're going to find out just how good we are. Can we keep up this undefeated pace? I highly doubt it, but you never know. Madden simulations can be very weird and very unpredictable. So we'll see. I'll see you guys at the playoffs. We've arrived at the year 3 playoffs, and you may notice we're not in it. But that's because we were the 1 seed in the NFC. We don't have to worry about the wild card. We went 13-4, got the 1 seed. A little bit of a weak division or weak conference this year if 13 wins is going to get you the number 1 seed, considering like the Bengals last year were like 15 wins for the AFC. But we'll see as we move on. But I'm loving the way this team is starting to build here in year number 3. And if we could get a championship already, then this rebuild would be basically over. But our guy is unreal. He is playing up to an 85. He's getting so good. I really hope that he wins Rookie of the Year. I don't know, but that would put him at an X factor, and we'd be off to the races. We would absolutely be off to the absolute races. This Dallas Cowboy playbook has been doing wonders for us. Carl Parks is amazing. So, you know what? If everything works out, then I'll be happy because we ended up getting a stud pass rusher and a quarterback. It just didn't go as naturally as I thought it was going to go. Or as the way that it basically didn't go the way that I wanted it to. But it still is. And the Bengals went at 15-2 again. What is the Bengals doing? Morris Graham, those gotta be Rookie of the Year numbers. Those gotta be 4,100 yards, 35 touchdowns, 13 picks. That has to be Rookie of the Year numbers on offense. Tell me that is Rookie of the Year numbers, because then he can go up to X Factor and we'll be cruising. Oh my God, 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns for Saquon in the Cowboy offense. Oh my God, it's not the record, but it's an insane season from Saquon Barkley. And then Shaheed and Hyatt both had 1,000 yards with 9 and 8 touchdowns respectively. So maybe Hyatt will go up to star. That could be huge. And maybe Shaheed will go up to star too. You never know. And then on the defensive side of things, Okereke had 108 tackles. Simmons had 85. Banks, Sutton, not really anything special there. Khalil Mack had a resurgence of his career. 75 tackles, 25 for loss, and 14.5 sacks. That is like close to prime Khalil Mack numbers. Dexter Lawrence also put up 16 tackles for loss and 10.5 sacks. Parks had 13. Absolutely insane numbers from. We got pressure out the wazoo. Deontay Banks had 4 picks. Sutton had 3. I don't know if this is good enough to go up to star development for Sutton, but maybe. It's tough to see. But we are in the playoffs. Can we beat the Niners? We beat them in year 1, didn't we? I highly doubt we're going to beat them. That's typical Madden, is to have such a good season, then we lose. But we actually do beat the 49ers 28-21. We're in the NFC title game for the first time. Remember, in year number 1, we only made it to the divisional round and lost to the Eagles. So, are we destined for a championship run? Or are we going to lose to Detroit? We are in the Super Bowl against the Raiders. Oh my God. 31-28. The rookie quarterback will make a Super Bowl appearance. Has there ever been I don't think there's ever been a rookie quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. I don't think there's ever been a rookie quarterback that's started and played in a Super Bowl. Not that I remember. I feel like I would know that. But we're taking on the Raiders, who just won a Super Bowl recently, maybe even last year. They got a Super Bowl. But Mo Graham is up to a true 84. He's having himself a day. We're taking on the 10-7 Raiders, so they're an underdog. We are the favorites. Oh, man, this will be such... We're in year number 3. And if we go out here and win this championship, I would do one more season to see if we can defend it, but then that would obviously be the final one since we technically rebuilt the Giants. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's Giants-Raiders, Super Bowl. Let's jump in and see if we can hold up a Lombardi. If we were to win this Super Bowl, that would just show a testament to how dominant the Cowboy playbook is. Where right now we're tied 7-7. They go up by a field goal. They get it back, and it's going back and forth here in the third quarter. We put up a touchdown. We're up 14-10. They score. Okay, we're getting a little spooky here. It's 3 minutes to go. We're down by a touchdown. We've got Graham in there. I'm glad he's not wearing Eli's number. That would have been a little awkward. But that would just be a testament to how good the Cowboy playbook is if we were able to get this championship. In the iconic words of RBT, let's get this bread, brother. Jalen Hyatt. Oh, remember, the dude can't run. He can't also throw on the run. I forgot that he couldn't run. Okay. He cannot scramble out of the pocket much at all. That was an open receiver in Jalen Hyatt, but he cannot do that. So we got to remember that. He does have a cannon. He's got 97 speed. We're not going to use it here. We're going to go to Hyatt this time. 3rd and 5, much more manageable. Much more manageable. Verticals with a little burst from Saquon could be the move. I think this is going to be just a straight check down to Saquon. Although he's not really open, but he's Saquon Barkley. He's always open. Huge catch on 3rd down from Saquon Barkley. Doing a little dance as well. And then we're going to hit him with a dagger play. This could be the final play before the 2-minute warning. I might let this drop to the 2-minute warning. No, let's snap it. We're going to call it. Go down to Gesicki. He holds on. That'll give us a little bit of a timeout. Okay. 2 minutes left to go. We have all our timeouts, so we don't have to worry about the clock too much. What we have to worry about is making the right decisions. 2nd and 6. Underneath, it's Isaiah Hodgins. Decent block from Jalen Hyatt there. And we can still run the football. We still have all of our timeouts, and we have time. And we have Saquon Barkley. So it's not like we are in desperate need to score right away. We also want to take some time off the clock, obviously. So we are going up against Max Crosby. It's a little bit of a tough ask, but that's a good power run from Saquon, able to fight for that 1st down because he would have been stopped short. Down to about a minute to go. I'm intrigued by these routes. I'm going to hit Jalen Hyatt, middle of the field, touchdown Giants. Mo Graham delivers the strike to Jalen Hyatt. And we are back in front with a minute to go. If we put this in, it's a touchdown game. They need to score a touchdown to win it with a minute to go. Oh my good God, they've got Josh Dobbs. They've got Josh Dobbs. 2nd and 10. 1st and 10. 1st and 20. 2nd and 9. 1st and 10, 40 seconds. 2nd and 10. Oh my God, they got a huge play, 28 yards. Oh, it's Gil Barwin. It's the dude from the 1st draft. They scored. Gil Barwin with a touchdown pass. Oh my God. Gil Barwin gives them a touchdown with 50 seconds or whatever he had. Absolute scenes here in Atlanta, but we still saved all of our timeouts. That's good management from the coach because we kick a field goal, we tie it, we score, we win. Can Mo Graham do back-to-back touchdown drives? That's going to be a pick. It's game over. Mo Graham lost it. He overthrew Mike Gesicki, and the Raiders will win the Super Bowl. The rookie lost the game. I can't send me out of it. I have to see the kneel. The rookie lost the game. Gil Barwin, he was a second-round true talent in the 1st draft, and he ends up coming back to haunt us. He beats us in the Super Bowl. We lose to the Vegas Raiders. How? How did we lose that? We had it. We went up with a minute to go. Less than a minute to go. And he scores the touchdown to frickin' win the game. To Davante Adams. And then the overthrow from the rookie. The overthrow from the rookie. Good news is he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, so he should be an X Factor now, which is awesome. Josh Allen wins the MVP. We don't win any other awards. Oh, how close we were, man. We had it in our grasp with a minute on the clock. We had the Lombardi. It was in our hands. It was in our hands, and we lose it with less than a minute to go. There's like 58 seconds. And they went down the field and drove and scored. What a way to win, man. What a way to lose. We go into the third off season. We have to accept the option to Deonte Banks, who is, by the way, a superstar development player now. Awesome. Everybody else does not need to come back. Although I did just notice Khalil Mack is an X Factor. So I'm going to spend some money on Khalil Mack. I am going to bring him back. Hopefully he accepts that. He's excited to come back. I think we got him on, what, 2 years? Something like that. Cordell Float, however you want to say his name. I think I'm going to bring him back as well. Although he does not want to be here. How's that? He thinks free agency would be better. What's the tag on him? It is $27 million. No, thank you. Everybody else can just basically leave since we're not going to get Cordell Flott back. That's brutal way to end your season. That's what it is, man. That's the NFL sometimes. We're in free agency. We have $10 million. I think we're just going to save it. I think we're just going to ride with the team we have right now. He is a true X Factor. Shaheed goes up to star. Hyatt, unfortunately, doesn't. But he does go up to star. The offensive line's looking good. On defense, we know now that Mack is an X Factor. Banks is a superstar. Everybody's developing. Sutton's now playing safety because we didn't bring back McCain. That's a little interesting. I don't like that a whole lot. So maybe we do have to go into free agency and sign a safety. Kelsey's here. Ronnie Stanley. Can't focus on that stuff. We need to focus on a safety that is decent. Lewis Seen's a 74. We can't really do that because even Sutton's a 77. So maybe we just have him play safety and then we sign a corner or two. That could be something. Cam Taylor-Britt would be good, but we'd have to pay all of our money and we have to outbid players, so I don't really want to do that. Or outbid other teams. We could go for a guy like Jonathan Jones, who's 32 and could help us for a year. So let's offer him that. And then we probably need a little bit of depth at the defensive line. So is there like a cheap defensive lineman that wants to come here? Cam Sample, I don't mind. Maybe a little too expensive, but we'll offer him that. So let's go to our targeted. We should be able to get both of them, and they both sign. So we bring in another corner, and we bring in a depth lineman, defensive lineman. I think that's fine. This draft is basically going to be nothing because we have a third and a fourth. So we don't really need... I don't even think there's going to be anybody. Maybe we can find a wide receiver or a corner that's a sleeper pick. But I highly doubt that. So we're just going to have to ride this momentum into Season 4 and hopefully get back to the Super Bowl and win it. I was hoping to end with a Super Bowl and then go in the final season, but I guess if we win a Super Bowl this year, then that'll be the final season. But we have to get back to the Super Bowl first. The Cowboy playbook definitely helped us, that's for sure. All right, let's do these private workouts, but we can't focus on anybody here, even if they're good players. We can't focus on them because we don't have picks. So let's go to like receiver and go to like the third round projections, see what's available. Not a whole lot. Is there somebody that's just fast? If there's somebody that's just fast, then I can think about it. Not you. What about you? Delvin Hales? He's a deep threat. He's intriguing. He's a a good player, at least speed-wise. So he's definitely interesting. But I don't think we're going to find a gem. It's not looking like it. It's not looking like we're going to find a gem. So, unless we could do this guy, David Webster. He looks kind of fast, and he's got better skills. I'm kind of intrigued by Delvin Hales, so maybe we go for him. As for offensive line, we don't really need. And then I wanted to check corner. So, is there any sneaky corners late in the draft that could be good? There's a lot of round 1 to 2 projections. Maybe one of them will fall to us. Isaiah White, 6'2" man corner. Doesn't look horrible. Could be a value pick for us. What about AJ Childress? He's a slot corner. Doesn't run super well. Not great. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to scout. Was it Isaiah White that I just looked at? It was you, right? 6'2". Yeah, I think it was this guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just lost who I was looking at. I'm pretty sure it was Isaiah White. So we're going to scout Isaiah White. We're going to scout... is there a safety that's good? We'll scout Kevin Downing, and then we'll go back and get that receiver. So where is he at? Delvin Hales, excuse me, Delvin Hales. And then I got to go and favorite those guys so I don't lose them. So let's do this, and then go to the cornerback spot and find him. Where's he at? There he is. And then find that free safety. What was his name again? Was it Kevin Downing? I think it was Kevin Downing. All right, so those are the 3 guys that I'm targeting. I don't know if they're going to be at all any good. We're going to find out. Maybe they can be. Let me just check and see. So if we go to the prospects, favorites. So we have 90% on all of them. Delvin Hales is basically just fast. He's not probably going to have a development trait, but he's basically fast is all he is. This corner looks pretty solid. I'd probably take him over the receiver, over Hales. Oops, I didn't mean to unfavorite that guy. I wanted to just take a look at him. Where's he at? Here he is. All right. Kevin Downing, is he worth even drafting? Maybe with like a 5th round pick if he's there, but he's probably not going to be because he's around 2 to 3 projections. So we're just going to go into the draft, simulate to our pick, and if one of the guys on our favorites board is there, then we'll take them. They're probably not going to be good, so don't have any high expectations. But we gotta. That's what happens when you try to trade up to get those picks. So simulate right to our pick. See if anybody's on the board. I think that actually Kevin Downing is there. Funny. So the corner, of course, the guy that I was going to take, the guy that actually looked pretty solid, is off the board. So do we take the safety? He didn't look that good. I'll just take the receiver. He's probably not going to be that good. Normal development, 93 speed, 98 excel. He's a fast player, but he's not very good as a receiver. So that's something. And then we'll skip to our 4th round pick. If that safety's there for some reason, we'll take him. But if he's there in the 4th round when he was a 2 to 3 projection, he's probably not good. And he's still here. We're going to take him. I just want to find out how bad he is. Normal development, he's pretty fast for a safety. He's got no strength. He's a noodle out there. That's not good for a safety. And he has normal development. Those 2 picks are probably not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. But we're not trying to look for the future anymore. We're here in the present, trying to win 1 championship before this video's over. So we're going to try to win this last championship here in year number 4. I think we can do it. I really do. I think we can get back and win it. We should have won it this year, but the Raiders stole it from us. 71 for Hales, 63 for Downing, and a 66 for the tackle they took. All right, no big deal. No big deal. I didn't expect them to be that good anyway. The draft class was not great. It was about 79s were the highest. That's not amazing. Not a lot of depth in the draft class. But we don't need draft classes anymore because we need good development from the guys we already have. That's basically all we're looking for, is good development from the boys. So let's go in here. I mean, we got 85s, 89s. We're looking pretty solid around the the board. Everybody's looking good. This is probably the worst receiving core that I've ever had. And to be in the spot that we are is kind of crazy. I'm going to make him have Gambit so that I can not throw interceptions when it's activated. Quick draw, definitely want to have that. Safety valve. Probably want to have closer. And then persistent, because he's not high enough overall to get the good abilities. So we'll give him that stuff for right now. And then on defense, we're still looking pretty good. We are going to be still rocking Cowboys. We're rocking Cowboys on offense and defense, so we're going to see how good that can be in year number 2 of rocking it. And this is year number 4. I'll see you guys at the midseason mark. I'm hoping that we are right back on track where we were last season. We are right back on track with where we were last season. 7-0 again. This Dallas Cowboy playbook is really helping us out, man. I need to go to the Dallas Cowboy playbook every single time. I mean, we are absolutely cooking. We have a amazing quarterback. We have a great running back, good enough receivers, and then a solid offensive line. And don't even get me started on this amazing defense. Yeah, Khalil Mack is starting to regress, but hey, this is the final season anyway. So we are hopefully ending it with a championship. We're doing good enough. Everybody's playing good enough football to get her done. So that is really all that we care about. We're taking on a bad Texans team. We're going to keep cruising. I mean, we just blew out the Cardinals 44-3. So I have a feeling we're going to keep dominating. People are going to put up good numbers. And hopefully we are the number 1 seed. I will see you guys at the end of the season in the playoffs, where we are again the best in the league. We've made it to the end of the regular season for year number 4. We're in the playoffs, and we are again the 1 seed, 15-2, absolutely crushing whoever we played this season. We've got a true 90 overall quarterback, I'm pretty sure. We are absolutely the best. There's really no question about it. We are simply better than every team in the NFL. We're going to be in the Super Bowl again. It just has to happen. I mean, we have a 90 overall quarterback. He's playing up to a freaking 95. He's playing so well. Shaheed's having a good year. Hyatt's doing okay. Hodgins is okay. On the defensive side of things, I mean, we got a stud linebacking core. We got great corners. We got a good pass rush with Lawrence, who's a true 99, and Parks, who's up to a 91 with the morale boost. So we are absolutely fine and dandy on all of that stuff. And it looks like Mo Graham led the league in passing yards. He did. Oh my God, that's MVP numbers. Don't even disrespect me by not giving him the MVP. 5,100 yards, 51 touchdowns, 6 picks. That's an unbelievable season. He might be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever drafted. With a 76% completion percentage as well, averaging 300 yards a game, this man is the real deal Shaquille O'Neal. 1,300 yards for Saquon Barkley with 16 touchdowns. So his production did take a little bit of a dip back, because of 5,000 yards for Graham. And the wide receivers feasted. Shaheed had 20 touchdowns with 1,600 yards, 1,211 touchdowns for Hyatt, 900 yards and 7 touchdowns for Hodgins. I mean, we were just eating good. Okereke with 122 tackles, 94 for Sutton, 90 for Simmons. Tackle for loss leader Dexter Lawrence with 12, 11 for Mack, 10 for Thibodeau. Sack leader was tied. Khalil Mack, even at his low overall, is still getting 11 sacks, and so is Lawrence. 7 for Parks, 5 for Thibodeau. Interception leader was Banks with 6. That could be good enough to go up to X Factor. He already went up to Superstar. He could be an X Factor. Isaiah Simmons with 4, so did Paulson Adebo. Then McKinney had 3, Sutton only had 1. But we're getting a lot of production, and we've got the MVP of the league. It's guaranteed we have the MVP of the league. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about it. We have the freaking MVP of the league. And now we got to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Can we get it done? I hope so. Let's simulate and find out if we can get it done. 15-2 versus 9-8. You got to think it's going to happen, right? It's got to be guaranteed. And we do beat them 28-24. We take on the Falcons in the NFC title game. I don't know why the Falcons are so good in simulation. They're such a mid team in real life. I don't know how they're dominating so much, but we got to advance I'm begging. I'm begging. We got to get to the Super Bowl. It's got to happen. So please give me what I want. Please, please. 28-24 victory. We're taking on the Jags in the Super Bowl. At least it's not the Raiders this time. At least it's not the Raiders. So we make back-to-back Super Bowls. This might be my most successful rebuild ever, even if we don't win a Super Bowl, because we've only missed the playoffs, what, twice? Once. We made it in year 1, we missed in year 2, we made it in year 3 because we made the Super Bowl, and now we're in year number 4 and we made the Super Bowl. So we've only missed the playoffs 1 time in this entire rebuild, which is absolutely insane. And Mo Graham is up to a true 93 overall. He might be one of the best quarterbacks I've ever drafted, that is for sure. We're taking on the Jags in the Super Bowl. It's got to happen for us, right? This is the last season, so this is our last chance. Just like the Broncos, we finish the video with a chance to win a championship. Hopefully, unlike the Broncos, we actually get it done. I'll see you guys in there. We are ready to take control of our championship destiny. It's tied 7-7. We get the ball back quickly. It's 10-7, 17-7, 24-7, 24-14, 31-14 in the fourth quarter, 34. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's 41-14. We're gonna win the championship, boys. We are gonna win the Super Bowl. 3rd down and 10, 4th and 20. 2 seconds remain. We're jumping in to get this bread. From the 3, just don't go back too far and get the safety. That'd be awkward. The kneel down at the 1, and we've done it. We have rebuilt the New York Giants to be world champions once again. Mo Graham, he got his revenge. The heartbreak from last season, losing that way to that quarterback, and then fighting through a full off season, a full regular season, a playoff appearance in the divisional round in the NFC title game, and then getting back to the championship and actually getting the job done. That is a true franchise quarterback right there. We have done it. This might be the most unorthodox rebuild I've ever done. We didn't have great receivers the entire time. We had good receivers. We had an amazing running back. We had obviously a great quarterback. We had a solid offensive line. A couple good tight ends here and there. Like, it was fine on the tight ends. Nothing really special on defense except for obviously Carl Parks. I think that Khalil Mack signing ends up being maybe the biggest signing we had. And we basically kept this team intact. Like, a lot of the Giants players that were on this original team are still on this team. We have the exact same linebacking core. We have Dexter, like, the defense is pretty much the exact same. There's only a few changes on offense. But this team is basically the same. I haven't done much to switch this team up. I mean, we made the freaking playoffs in year number 1, so I didn't have to do too much. But we will take a look at recap real quickly, and then we will go to the take a look at the roster one final time. So Saquon wins MVP of the Super Bowl. We do end up getting offensive or MVP of the league with Mo Graham, which is absolutely pretty obvious. I figured that was going to happen. But we do get Rashid Shaheed to be the Offensive Player of the Year, which means he's probably a superstar development player now. That's really cool. You love to see that. If we were going to go another year, we might go back-to-back championships with the way this team is playing. Yes, he is a superstar development player. Gesicki's actually a superstar development player as well. But look at this team. It's such a unorthodox team. Like, we still have the same 3 core pieces on the offensive line. They didn't really develop too much. I mean, Andrew Thomas is really good, but like Schmitz Jr. and Neal didn't really turn into anything special. They were just always solid. Hyatt, actually, I just noticed, is up to a star development player, but he's still here. Hodgins is still here. We signed Rashid Shaheed, but he wasn't like anything major. We still have Barkley. We obviously have Mo Graham, who's playing up to a 99, but he's not a true 99. The linebacker is the exact same. Safety is the same. McKinney's still here. Deonte Banks is still here. He's an X factor now. We brought in Paulson Adebo, and we drafted Sutton. But Dexter Lawrence is still here. We drafted Parks, number 2 overall. This team is basically the Giants. I just added a few pieces here and there, but this team is still the same team, and we got the championship that we needed. this team is not as good as what they probably should be. Or they're better than they should be, I should say. I flipped that. They're better than they should be. And it's probably because of 2 players. Mo Graham and Carl Parks. These 2 guys are studs. I did notice that Khalil Mack did retire. But Carl Parks, taking him with the 2nd overall pick. I mean, we got a championship before the Broncos did. And they drafted that quarterback. I forget his name. He had like double H's or something like that. They took him, so... maybe we would have won a championship the year prior if we had that quarterback. I don't know, but we got it done in the end, thanks in part to Carl Parks and to this man right here, Mo Graham. Morris Graham was a stud. I mean, he came in with 97 throw power. His throwing stats are unbelievable. He might be the best quarterback we've drafted in any of my series or anything like that. He's just so good. Absolute unbelievable stud. And then obviously receivers ended up being good. Rashid Shaheed turned out to be an amazing signing for us, mainly because he's super fast and just really good, and he developed, and Jalen Hyatt developed. It took him a little bit, but he did develop. We didn't get to see much of David Lentz, the 6'8 freak, but that was just because we signed Gesicki, and Gesicki was a higher overall already, so maybe he would have turned out to be even better if we would have got to play him, but he's good. We just didn't get to see much of him. And then obviously our 2 offensive line draft picks, Matthias Roman, stud, drafted him as a superstar development player. And then Cam Aldridge, only normal development, but he didn't really need it. He played better than what his development trait is. He played better than what his overall is. And that morale boost definitely helped him out. So he played really, really well. On defense, like I said, I didn't do much. We just grew the homegrown talent. And then obviously we had Deonte Banks get lucky and get a X factor from where he was at with Star. But then we drafted this dude, Damian Sutton, who ends up being really good. So, I mean, hey, it was an unorthodox way to do it, but we got it done. We win a championship. We went to 2 straight Super Bowls, lost one in heartbreaking fashion, but then come back and win the second one. So that's going to do it for the rebuild. We have rebuilt the New York Giants. Let me know down below in the comments who else you want to see me take on and try to rebuild. But if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.